Hi, everyone. It's day 4. I'm going to just jump right in. So today we're going to be focusing on forgiveness. And I often say that forgiveness is the gift you give yourself, right? That if you're carrying around all this resentment, it's a heavy load to bear. And, you know, you're going to feel a lot lighter if you shed it, right? The other idea, which I love this one, it's a Buddhist idea that Carrie Fisher kind of co-opted with her own unique kind of sardonic humor. And she said that resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. So, there's a lot of health benefits, healthier relationships, as well as, not having that taste of resentment in your mouth, which can cause lots of disease within you. Certainly endorphins are very good for you. Antioxidants are very good for you. Happiness is good for you. Fun is good for you. Resentment, not so good for you, right? So we all know that. Now, what does that have to do with living a greener life or prosperity or abundance? Um, Look, if what we don't realize sometimes is that when we're holding on to these negative thoughts or these negative feelings or hyper focusing on them, or our brain is consumed by it, is that we are missing other opportunities. And that's where prosperity and abundance lies. There's no prosperity, there's no abundance in resentment. There's no good that comes in chasing down someone and getting revenge, right? Like, where does prosperity and abundance come from? Well, it comes from creating things that other people want and selling it to them at a profit. Where does living a richer life or happiness and gratitude come from? That comes from aligning your daily activities with something that you believe is important. It's just the way it goes. If you really love your life, chances are you're doing things that you feel are very important, whether it's a mother taking care of her children, Prince Charles or HRH, Prince Wales, taking care of the environment, me feeling that financial literacy is important, or that empowering all of us with information that we can make better choices for the planet. I feel that that's very important. So it makes me really happy to do it, right? And that's a rich life for me. So back to this idea of forgiveness and how it's going to tie into green. I think this is really interesting, actually, because I was looking at industry today. And as we know, industry is a big polluter, right? It makes up, somewhere between a quarter and a third of all the CO2 emissions is related directly to industry. So we'll take a look at all the various industries that are top the polluters. As you know by now, oil and gas is going to top the list. All of the fossil fuel companies are going to top the list on that. And that's also going to include a lot of petrochemicals, which we haven't made the connection on yet. But the reason that I wanted to talk about this in terms of forgiveness is a lot of times we are placing a lot of energy and blame and negative energy on those polluters. And the fact is, they're giving the goods and services to us. So we have to release and forgive them for just bringing us what we want. And that means that we got to change everything. And we have to recognize that all of the problems that we see have our hand. It's all handprints are on everything. So that means we got to forgive the industry and we have to forgive ourselves, but we also have to make change. So, as an example, if you have somebody that you thought was really going to harm you, you don't forgive them and then stand and wait for them to smack you in the face, right? You would say, okay, I'm going to release any negative towards this person. I wish them nothing but love, God's love. But you would also move yourself back so you're out of the line of fire. So it's sort of what we have to do here is that we have to take ownership. We have to take accountability. We have to see our handprints all over everything. We have to stop blaming companies and start understanding what they're telling us. We aren't bringing you what you want, right? So the only way we get them to stop bringing us is to stop wanting it, to stop using it as much. Okay? So we have to recognize our handprints. And again, I'm not going to go into a complete tirade on this. I'm just going to show you a few things. And I'm going to tell you how it really resonated with me and helped me to give up my car. So the first thing I want to take you back to is 2010. This happened 2 days before Earth Day. It was the Deepwater Horizon, the BP oil spill. And this happened and went on for about 5 months. And every time I went to the oil, go fill up my car, I had a Mercedes with gasoline, I felt dirty. There's no way that any longer that I could press that gas hose and all I could see was the oil spill in the Gulf. And I knew at that moment that they were drilling over a mile beneath the surface of the Gulf of Mexico with untested equipment. They didn't know how to cap the oil well. That was the problem. They just didn't have, and in fact, there are reports that it's still leaking. And they were doing that because I was filling up my car with gasoline. Now, again, you might say, well, I have an electric vehicle, but if you have it in Florida, it's being powered by fossil fuels there too. So, and I do not believe that single occupancy vehicles are the future. I think we can think beyond that. A lot of people say, oh my God, how can I get around without my car? Oh my God, how can I do this? How can I do that? Well, all kinds of cities have figured that out. Santa Monica's figured it out. Manhattan's figured it out. London's figured it out. Paris has figured it out. Hamburg's figured it out. So it's all there. Your little section of life can figure it out. So let's talk about industry a little bit more. So again, I don't want to go crazy with this, but that helped me. And this is actually kind of funny. So the following year on Earth Day, there was a group of us that got together and we were challenging people to give up their car for the entire weekend. And I think like 100 people joined our group. It wasn't very many at all. Although we did get some amazing pictures from around the world of families riding their bikes to the local park and stuff. But it's, I know that you think everything that I'm telling you is impossible to do, but I'm proof that a great deal of it is very possible to do. So let's take a look at our handprints all over industry, okay? And there's one other terrible thing, or a few other terrible things that I'm going to show you. So this is the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. It's actually an area of the Gulf of Mexico where sea life can't live. And it's bigger than normal this year. So why does that happen? Well, there are a number of industrial farms in that area. And all of the chemicals, which are toxins, which in other words, they're poison, flow down the Mississippi River and into the Gulf of Mexico, and they create this area where no life can live. So what's our handprint on that? Again, we've talked about organic and local food. And organic food does not use petrochemical toxins. And also it doesn't have the transportation CO2 emissions of having it come from far away. So again, you can learn more about all of that in The Power of 8 Billion. And it's not my research, it's research done all over the world by people that have been doing this for half a century. This is Cancer Alley. So I already told you about a number. There's also the most oil refineries are down here in Louisiana. So this has some areas here, especially the ones you see in bright red, 50 times the national average of cancer. So we don't see these statistics. They're not in our face. And I think it's important that we put them in our face and we say, okay, my hand in this is that if I'm buying cheap chicken from Louisiana and it's creating the dead zone, I can't ignore that anymore. Part of my forgiveness has to be that I change it, because I'm not going to keep smacking myself in the face or killing fish in the Gulf of Mexico. So I wish that I had better news for us all, but that's what we've got to look at. So let's look at some of the industries. These are the top polluting industries. Oil and petroleum, we already knew that was going to be there. Chemical manufacturing, metals and mining. So that's part of the problem with single occupancy vehicles. Food retail, and paper manufacturing. That's part of the problem with single use everything, and toilet paper that is not recycled. The fashion industry, technology, crypto, and we'll talk about construction and agriculture in their own days. So with oil and petroleum, we've already challenged ourselves to reduce our carbon footprint personally by 30% this year. Chemical manufacturing, a lot of that has to do with both petrochemicals, but over half of an oil barrel is used for things other than oil and gas. It's used for our petrochemicals, it's used for our clothing, our non-fiber fabrics. So it's really important to make a choice to have natural fibers in your fabrics. Part of the reason why I'm wearing this for the 4th day in a row, first thing, it's alpaca. I bought it in Peru. Second thing is that we can have uniforms. We don't have to change our outfit every single day. Now, spoiler alert, I did record all of these because I just like to do that. I kind of get on a roll, even though I still think you should be doing them daily. I get on a roll and I kind of want to talk to you, in that kind of space when my heart's full. But that's part of it, is that the part of our big problem is we're consuming too much, or we're using it once and throwing it away. Petroleum products have a problem in that they're not easily recycled. So that includes polyester and nylon. And they also leach microplastics into the ocean. We'll talk about microplastics and the ocean health a little bit later on, but that's a problem too. So it's, again, there are solutions, right? Natural fibers. So, food retail and paper manufacturing, limit your fast casual, please stop single-use paper products that are not recycled. Try as much as possible to purchase your products in a way that doesn't have an extra layer of packaging, whether it's having it delivered, or maybe we have to put pressure on these companies like Amazon and Alibaba to, why do you have to throw out the packaging each time and completely destruct it only to reconstruct it, which is very energetic, a lot of energy to do that. And again, we'll talk a lot about how we can start, recycling things better. The fashion industry, we just talked about. Technology does use up a lot. Data centers do as well. Crypto uses up even more than data centers. So the lower energy altcoins, it's true. I mean, when Tesla, they may have had other reasons for saying why they were going to stop accepting Bitcoin, but they were right that it is absolutely a major energy hog, a big, big problem. So yeah, you could get rich on crypto and the planet could die. So we can't just be greed mongers here. Okay. So back to our mantra, forgiveness, right? And again, let's have forgiveness and accountability in there too. I really think it's important for us to start seeing every headline you hear of the problem in the world, it comes right back to us. our fingerprints on there are on everything, everything. If you want to know the connection, then plug into me and ask me the question, and I'll come on another, one of our video conferences and we'll talk about it. But all of the problems in the world, they don't go and stop at the company or the industry. They stop at us because we're the one buying it. We're the one doing it. The companies will say, we're just providing it with what you want, right? So we got to stop wanting it. And I know it's easy and I know it's convenient, but we have to just, it doesn't take that much longer to figure out a different way, or to say, oh, nope, not interested in coffee if it has to be in that drink and toss cup. Not interested. Not interested in that burrito that I really love that's sustainable and organic if it's going to come in use and toss paper. Not interested. I'll figure out how to make my own burrito at home. Okay, guys, I know it's a lot. Please, please, please bear with me. We have a lot at stake, and we're all going to be able to party on planet Eden if we figure this out. Okay. All right. So we have to, part of forgiveness is that we have to stop looking for who to blame and why they're worse than we are, and start holding ourselves accountable and helping to lift up our brother and sister and children for the sake of our children. Right. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.